Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of The Perfect Tactic, where I take a European giant and, well, try to create the perfect tactic for them. In today's episode I'm going to focus on Inter Milan, and I've created a 3-3-2-2 formation, and trust me, it performs as crazy as it sounds. Anyways, if you do like this kind of content, please do drop a like, consider subscribing, and one more thing, quick disclaimer, this tactic may not work with your team in Football Manager, however, feel free to give it a go. The download link will be in the description below. Anyways, enough talking, let's get to the video. So here we are then as manager of Inter Milan, and the first thing we have to do when we are creating a tactic is to find out who the best players are and try and get the best out of those players. The easiest way to do this is to sort your squad by ability, and for Inter Milan we have 6 players here who are, well, they're very good, let's be honest. Another thing to look out for is their best role and their best duty. Of course, the best way to get the most out of these players is to match both of these things. However, you'd be surprised by how many people ignore this. So the first thing we have to do is to fit these players into the squad. Of course, Handanovic is nice and easy. He can go straight in goal, there's no worries there. Then we have Skriniar, who of course we can have at the back. But you clicked this video because it was a 3-3-2-2 formation. So let me just quickly rearrange the squad. And just like that, we have a 3-3-2-2 formation. Now it's time to fit in our best players. Barella, he can go into the centre of midfield. Stefan de Vrij, or the Fridge, for those Dr. Benji fans of you, he can go at the back there. Brozovic now, of course, he can go into midfield. And then Martinez, he can sit right up top there at the front of this formation. So now we have our best players in the squad. However, now it's time to utilise those player roles and those duties to make sure we get the best out of these players. We're going to start with Skriniar at the back, and even though his best rating is to play central defender as defend, I'm actually going to play him as a ball playing defender on defend. And you will see it's still 4 stars, so in theory there's no drop off of ability there. Therefore, we're still getting the best out of that guy. Then de Vrij, we're actually going to have him as a wide centre back. The reason for this is, well, that's just how this formation works, but also he's more than capable of playing that. It is half a star drop off from a ball playing defender, but honestly, he's good enough to play it. And de Vrij, well, look at him, those attributes, you could play him anywhere pretty much. Ahead of them we have Barella, and he is a ball winning midfielder, so we're going to have him on ball winning duty on defend. Next to him we have Brozovic, who is a world class box to box midfielder, so we have to play him in that role. And then ahead of them all, we have Martinez up front, and he is, of course, a fantastic advanced forward, so that's exactly how he'll stay. Now, with all of our best players in their best positions, with their best duties, in theory, they should perform pretty well. Now, before we pick the rest of the squad and get into the team instructions and the player instructions, let me show you all of the positions for this tactic that you will need to set. Or, of course, you could just download it in the link below. While you're down there, press subscribe. Anyways, on the left hand side of defence, we are going to want another wide centre back on defend duty. Across midfield, we're going to have a box to box, a ball winner, and then on the left hand side, we're also going to have a ball winning midfielder, this time on support. The reason being is on support duty, they aim to win the ball back high up the pitch and support counter-attacking opportunities. Therefore, they're adding an extra player going forward, so technically we're attacking with 5 players, 6 if Brozovic gets up the pitch. Meanwhile, we're going to have 4 players back pretty much all times. Therefore, it should be a very secure tactic in defence and an absolute incredible one moving forwards. On the left hand side, we're going to have an inverted winger on attack, purely because we want him to utilise this space in the centre of the pitch. This tactic is going to rely on dominating the central third of the pitch, and with the inverted winger playing inside of here, it's going to create insane overloads. Then we'll have an attacking midfielder on support duty. The reason why he's on support is because he tends to sit in the hole rather than get in the box. The box is going to be filled with 3 players. We need to have a player on the outside to be feeding through those balls, and that's where this guy comes in. Ahead of him, of course, we have our advanced forward. We're actually going to put him on the other side now. So the advanced forward is going to be on the right hand side, and on the left hand side of attack, we're actually going to have a target forward on support. And again, if you look at the duties why, support duty tends to win flick-ons and simple possession passes to teammates to bring them into play. Now that is super important, as we have Martinez, we have the attacking midfielder, we have the inverted winger, we also have Brozovic coming forward, and the ball winning midfielder powering forward as well. We need someone who can hold up the play and bring everyone in. And that's exactly what the target forward does. Now I'm going to quickly select the players for all of these positions, and then I'll get into the team instructions and the player instructions. So the whole squad is selected, and I've actually forgotten to make Handanovic a sweeper keeper, so don't forget to do that. On defend duty as well, if you have a little look at the rules, it means it's going to be cautious, but you'll still play counter-attacking balls when they are on, which is what we want. The first thing we're going to do is set our mentality to attacking. We want to take the game by the scruff of the neck and absolutely dominate, both possession-wise and chance-wise. In possession, we're going to have shorter passing with slightly higher tempo. We're going to set the squad up as fairly narrow, as our 3-3-2-2 isn't going to create that much width. We might as well keep it quite narrow to try and utilise that central third of the pitch. We're also going to float crosses, and the reason for this is because with that target forward, in theory, he should be able to outmuscle any defender and get his head on the ball. Either play knockdowns or powering it into the back of the net. Either way, floated crosses are going to work best for him. And if the cross isn't on, we're going to work the ball into the box, and we're also going to run at the defence. We want to create chaos amongst their defenders, and by dribbling at them, it's going to do just that, as we're going to have so many players in and around their box. The defenders are going to have to close down the dribbler, and then he can play a simple pass. And finally, we want to focus play through the middle of the pitch. We have a huge overload in the middle of the pitch here. We want to try and make the most of it. So focus and play through there should get us some good results. And on top of that, we're going to play the ball out of defence just so we can keep the ball even more so, and we can be really secure with possession at the beginning of our phase of play. In transition, it's fairly simple. We're going to counter press, we're going to counter, and we're going to distribute the ball quickly. The reason for this is because if they are attacking, we want to release the ball over the top of their players so we can make the most out of our numerical advantage pushing forward with 4 players hopefully going to be in their half at all times. Out of possession is actually quite a lot here. We want to force the opposition inside, as of course we don't have any wing backs or wide midfielders, so we definitely need to have them filtered in towards our centre backs. We want to push higher up the pitch, and we want a much higher line of defence. The reason for this is, well, there is no second chances really, so we might as well gamble and get as many players forward as possible. We're also going to play the offside trap, as I just like doing that with 3 at the back. It seems to work a lot better. We're going to use tight marking, and we're going to press just a little bit more often, as well as getting stuck in. And now it's time for the player instructions, and defensively it's very easy. Handanovic has none, De Vrij has none, Skriniar doesn't have any either, and Bastoni, well, he doesn't have any either. So defensively, nothing to add there. However, in midfield, we're definitely going to be adding some. So Vidal here is a ball-winning midfielder. What we want to do is encourage him to stay wider so we have a little bit of width. He's going to cross it more often, and he's also going to aim his crosses at the target forward. Next to him, we have Barella. Now, he is a ball-winning midfielder on defensive duty, but ideally, we would much rather have a defensive midfielder in this position just so we have a little bit more stability. However, the way to counter that is to get this player to mark a specific position. So what we're going to do is set him to mark their attacking midfielder who is playing centrally. And what he will do is, if we are playing against an opposition who has a cam, for example, Barella is going to spend most of the match back here, keeping an eye on their number 10, therefore creating that stability when we need it. A very underrated feature is this mark-specific position. It's definitely worth using in your tactics moving forward. Brozovic on the right-hand side has very similar instructions to that of Vidal. He's going to stay wider, he's going to cross it more often, and again he's going to aim it at the target forward. Ahead of him on the left-hand side is Sanchez, and he has very simple instructions. He's going to stay wider as well and cross the ball more often. Now comes the pivotal player of the entire formation, and that is the attacking midfielder within this number 10 position. Now his instructions, well, there's a lot of them. We want him to take more risks, we want him to cross more often, we want him to aim his crosses at the target forward. We also want him to dribble more, we want him to shoot less. So he is the creative force of this team. And to be that creative force, we need him to move into the channels and roam from position, as he is going to have free reign and he can go anywhere he wants on the pitch, as everything is going to revolve around him, either holding the ball up and bringing others into play, or playing that final through ball. Moving on to our forward line now. Our target forward, nothing else needs to be added. And our advanced forward, the only thing we're going to add on is roam from position. We want him to take up the best positions possible, and for that, we can't have him playing centrally all the way through the match. Think Harry Kane. He floats around all over the shop and fires in shots from every possible angle. That's what we want from Martinez. So that is the 3-3-2-2 formation. Let me know what you think in the comments below. However, I'm going to show you the results, and hopefully it's going to work pretty well. And well, if you've seen this video, it definitely has. Well, would you look at that? It has worked, and it's worked bloody brilliantly. We are league champions with a goal difference of 77, more than double AS Roma, who finished in second place. And having a quick look at the player stats, it's clear to see who has performed particularly well. Martinez has 56 goals, average rating of 7.82. Cam has 25 assists, and Martinez with 16 Player of the Match awards. That sounds good to me. Let's have a look at the league table. Just how well did we do? We scored 115 goals. That is outrageous. Only conceding 38 as well. Where does that put us? That puts us, the 5th best defence in the whole league? Meanwhile scoring way more than anybody else. Absolutely insane. When we have a little look at the squad as well, we've got Martinez, of course, with those 56 goals. Dzeko with 28. Vidal with 15. 35-year-old Arturo Vidal getting 15 goals from that ball-winning midfielder support duty role. That is insane. On number 10, Hakan, I can't say that second name. 13 goals, 25 assists. Ridiculous. Sanchez on the left there, 10 goals, 23 assists. It's fair to say that this tactic works. Having a quick look at our schedule here, and you can see just how many goals we are scoring. My days, 7-1, 6-3, 6-2, 6-1. It just goes on and on and on. Just outrageous the amount of goals there. Incredible. Having a quick look at the stats, you can see that we've scored the most goals. We already knew that though, 115. Ridiculous. 2.58 points per game, that's amazing. 809 shots, well over 100 more than second place Lazio. Just ridiculous. We also had the best possession in the league with 61%, with almost 25,500 passes. That's pretty good. And when we look at the detailed stats, you can see our name cropping up many times. And look at this stat here. 3.03 goals per game. This tactic, let me say this again, scores you an average of 3 goals a game. That is just insane. What else is crazy is that it has created 222 clear-cut chances, 40 more than second place Lazio. That is outrageous. And it just keeps going. We've had the most shots on target. We've had the most shots, the best ratio, the best conversion rate, the most shots per game, 21 shots per game on average. Insane. And we lost possession the least amount of times in the whole league. This tactic dominates possession, dominates going forward, and is incredibly sound at the back. I mean, what are you waiting for? Download it now. The link's below. And remember, hit that subscribe button. So it is clear to see that this tactic works. We scored boatloads of goals, barely conceded any. However, you're going to want to see how this formation works in gameplay. So let me load up some of the matches, and I'm going to show you just how this tactic works and how we score so many goals. So the first goal I'm going to show you is a goal from our 2-0 victory over Juventus, and it's going to come from us keeping a hold of the ball at the back, playing sensible passes, and Vidal is going to pick it up in midfield. If we just pause it here, you can see that we actually have 4 players ahead of the ball right now, and Brozovic is completely unmarked over here if Vidal wanted to pass the ball this way. If we play it out a little bit, he actually plays a fantastic ball over the top for Alexis Sanchez. And now Sanchez here doesn't have many options on the wing. That is a downfall to this tactic. However, if he fires the ball across, he has Dzeko and Martinez just waiting inside the box, and Martinez is there to apply the finish. This goal I'm going to show you begins with Brozovic here, and he's going to play a fantastic crossfield ball to Alexis Sanchez. Now, if you remember, he is an inverted winger with the stay wider instruction added on, and he is out here getting chalk on his boots, and he has a few options here, but he plays it into Dzeko, who is of course the target forward. Now, he did have a few options there. He could have played it into Hakan, could have played it to Martinez, could have even played it back to Sanchez. But what he does is he plays it back to Vidal, who plays a fantastic 1-2 with him. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dzeko's going to pop it in the bottom corner, but no, that's not what happens. He decides to hold up the ball and wait for someone else in a better position than him. He passes it across to Hakan, who fires into the bottom corner. The goal's fantastic, but look at how many players are in the opposition box. We've got Brozovic, Martinez, Hakan, Sanchez and Dzeko all inside the opposition's box. Now, we're playing a 3-3-2-2 formation, but we're getting 5 players in their box, with 2 lurking on the outside. It's a very attacking tactic, but my days does it create havoc in the opposition box. The next goal I'm going to show you is a really well worked goal again, and it's going to start with Bastoni, our wide centre back. Now, of course, he has on defend duty, but they do push forward ever so slightly to create those diagonal passes. Now he's going to play it to Barella and Brozovic is going to play it into Hakan. If we just pause it here, remember this is a 3-3-2-2 formation, but Hakan has 3 players ahead of him. He's got Sanchez, he's got Dzeko, he's got Martinez. He could play it out wide all the way to Vecino, who would normally be Vidal in that ball-winning midfielder position. Stay wider, remember, so he utilises all this space when their right back is preoccupied with the inverted winger. However, Hakan chooses to play a lovely through ball to Martinez, and Martinez just dinks it over the goalkeeper for another goal. Fantastic. So there we have it then. Another formation and another success. 3-3-2-2, absolutely dominant for Inter Milan. If you do like this kind of content, please do drop a like, consider subscribing, because trust me, this is only the beginning. Anyways, that's it from me. Take it easy, look after yourselves, and hopefully I'll see you next time.